9そらいろそらうた空の音
Good morning, evening, and afternoon. Welcome to a brand new kind of series. Well, not series, but how would I really word it? I guess just a new playthrough in a sense. So, as you can see, this is not Kokonotsu Kokono Iro, but Sora Ira. Sorry, I gotta reset that. Sora Iro Sora Uta Sora no Oto. It's gonna take me some time to get used to that. Yeah, so this will be a brand new playthrough for 9. This is episode 2 for Sora Nimi. And unfortunately, it had come to pass where, as I mentioned in the last episode of episode 1, I was really hoping the main character wasn't going to be Sora, but it ended up being so. Unfortunately. Obviously, it's not like I dislike the character, it's just, I mean, you know, I'm just not into that, so leave it there, I guess you could say. Yeah, so this is actually coming up on a Sunday. Actually couldn't wait to play this. Actually, I was quite impatient, I guess you could say. Because I want to see how this starts, I want to see how this goes, what's the story like, what's the focus, what's the goal, what's going to happen. I did take a quick look at the settings. Do let me know about the sound as well, because obviously it's a new game in a sense, so it's different settings. Obviously I like to peruse this sometimes. I did start by the voice, and I didn't look at it properly, but I did see there was new names, new characters, so expect something new, I guess you could say. And I was actually right on the one thing. I'm just going to pause here 1 second and I'll show you what I mean. One last thing before we head into this, I do want to mention that there was a few things. Well, firstly, for those who are new, the way I like to do these Let's Plays on visual novels is I like to, well, it depends on the text, the English text. Depending on how I hear the voices and how I read the English, I like to try and reinterpret what they're trying to say, because sometimes, well, actually quite a lot of the times actually it's quite not uncommon where the translation doesn't portray what they want to say correctly, in a sense. I found that quite often in the first episode. Well, probably mainly also because it was this translation that they used was a bit weird, as you could say. So on top of that, this time around I did go with the other translation for this series. So you won't be seeing the brewskis and all these other weird phrases, I guess you could say. Hopefully. But one thing that I enjoy about the series 9 is that it allows me to. It has it here.
環境設定だ。メッセージ選択だよ。
wait,
システムの
yeah, sorry.
設定だよ。
It allows me to have a main text and a subtext.
メッセージ選択だよ。
It doesn't have a jump. It allows me to see the English and then the Japanese right underneath it. That allows me to further down check what they're trying to say in a sense. Rather than just hearing it, I can read it as well. But obviously there's a lot of kanji I can't read, so not 100% correct. But yeah, I'd also like to theorize a lot in the way I do these playthroughs. So if there's a lot of information, there's something I want to think about what's going to happen next, or the culprit could be, you might expect that quite a lot going forward. So that, with that out of the way, let's carry on, shall we? So yeah, I'm not sure how far you have to go or how it's going to work, but I'm really can't wait to see how this will turn out. So let's start, shall we?
始めるね。
No. Everyone has a few memories they hold especially dear. Things they can't forget, things they mustn't forget. It goes without saying, but I have some too. Or at least I should have. And yet, they seem to have vanished. Why that is, I cannot say. But they've been scrubbed from my mind so thoroughly that I cannot begin to guess at what they may have been. All that remains is an incredible sense of unease. Someone's saying he's gonna forget Sora or something like that, I don't know. Or he's forgotten her. Remember. $4.21. When did the previous one happen? Scarcely half a month has passed since the new term began, and I became a second year. And yet this has been perhaps the most eventful 15 days of my entire life. It all started at the festival. Okay, so it's starting from that festival. A while back, there was this anime called Mobius Ring: The Cycle of Reincarnation. The town I live in, Shiramitsugawa, helped sponsor it as a way of promoting tourism to the area. The show had some convoluted plot based off of local folklore. It left a big impression on a small group of dedicated fans. But most people regarded it as one of those oddball shows that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Though it went down in anime history as a complete failure, it's unclear whether the bigwigs behind the regional sponsorship deal are clueless to that fact or simply aren't willing to admit it. It's been 2 years since the anime aired. And so we had the second annual Mobius Festival, a ham-fisted attempt to get some mileage out of the anime, despite the local residents' overwhelming opposition to go through the cringeworthy event a second time. Unfortunately, an earthquake happened right as things were getting started, putting an abrupt end to the festivities. So it's happening at this time, huh? To make matters worse, earthquake shattered the namesake treasure of the Shrine of the White Viper's Relic, a location featured prominently in the anime, and also the site of the festival. As a result, a gate opened between our world and a parallel dimension. Okay, so it's kind of like a recap. I wish I was joking. But no, that really happened. Oh, wait, it's not happening starting then. When are we starting this then? I don't know where we're continuing. After that, we found a statue that turned out to be a petrified human. That was the start of my surreal half month. The next major incident was when one of the students from my school, Hakusen Academy, set the building ablaze using some strange power. During the fray, my classmate, Miyako Kujo, used some kind of superpower to extinguish the source of the flames. And if that all wasn't crazy enough, one of the residents of this parallel world, Sophitia, showed up at my house. After seeing so many crazy things, all I could do was believe the story she told me. It appeared all of these instances had been caused by powerful objects known as artifacts. They spilled into our world from Sophitia's, but they looked like ordinary jewelry. They grant their wielders immense power, but are also liable to drive them insane. Not even Sophitia knows how many artifacts have found their way to our world. We still haven't caught the murderer behind the petrification incidences, and there's a real possibility that the other malicious users, with no reservations about using their power, might pop up. If that happens, there'll be even more innocent victims. Worse, if other villains appear, they might spur the user of the evil eye to commit even greater atrocities. I've teamed up with Kujo to catch the culprits. Our first course of action has been to look for trustworthy users to win over to our cause. So is that where we're starting our story this time around? Before we know Noah and Haruka are users. Pretty wild story, right? It was just yesterday that I tried to show off to Kujo by offering my assistance. Seriously, the whole thing is so crazy it feels like it came right out of an anime. If this were a TV show, Kujo would be the main character, and I'd be the sidekick. Technically, I have an artifact as well, but I have no idea what it does or how to use it. In fact, I didn't even know I had one until Sophie told me. Theoretically, I should have an accessory of some kind too, but I haven't been able to find anything like that on my person. At any rate, I'm pretty much useless. Kujo's power, stealing an object, and making it so its former owner doesn't even remember that it was theirs, is amazing. I can't do anything like that. Frankly speaking, I'm not sure I'll be any help at all. So I wondered, what can I even do? How can I help? That's why right now I'm looking for new comrades. Ah, I think I know where this is going to go. This is filling that void between finding out the information from Sophie and then looking at the leaves of Agassia Forum. There was that big gap I mentioned where I disliked because they didn't say anything about how Sora got her power or no discussion about it. There was just a big gap saying, oh, by the way, Sora has an ability as well. So this is how that's going to fill that gap. That's nice. I'm not prepared for this crazy life I've been thrust into, but I know the world is not going to wait for me. As I mentioned before, I wonder how the translation change will affect my reading of this story. Because I think before it was her name was just had it as Naruse, but now she's Satsuki, so I'm still gonna call her Naruse. So we stand and bow, signaling the end of homeroom. She picks up her logbook and leaves the classroom. Now then. We're on cleaning duty today, remember? My friend Yoichi walks over and drops his bag on my desk. The two of us then head to the corner of the classroom, where the supply closet is, pick up our brooms, and walk out into the hallway. In this type of timeline, or this time period, in this, like it's been after the time with Kujo and such discussions and the whole fire thing. So in a sense, this is the second time he said this line. You said it, man. Yep, okay, he does. That's 'cause it sucks. What? Oh, yeah. Bye. I stammer out a reply as Kujo walks past us to the hallway. Yoichi waits for a few seconds, then turns to me with a cold stare. Yeah, what? What crazy... Ah, right, that. Hard to believe that the whole thing with the fire was just a day ago. When it ended, the fire split as quick as it came, leaving the firefighters flummoxed. Weird word, okay. Chances are a good chunk of the school saw me and Kujo dashing to the heart of the fire just before it vanished. Guess I shouldn't be surprised there are rumors spreading about us now. This also explains all the weird stares I've been getting in class. That said, it seems like most of them don't have bad impressions of me, at least. God, I'll say, we got that whole spiel about how we need to value our lives more and not be reckless and all that. Yeah, written funny though, uses the character for heaven instead of the one for sky. This also, if he does meet Sora, no wait, no, never mind. I still don't understand how he knew Sora was his sister, or that was Sora when they were in the apartments, when Sora and him met for the first time. I still wonder how he knew that was his sister and not somebody else related to him, you know? Alright, no, I think she did say Onia back then. I think this is the second time I mentioned this. Never mind. I can't remember. It's been a while. You can't be serious. They have. So interestingly here now, here it says, so Mina, yes, everyone. Yeah, it's here in the English says, yep, it's super obvious. So that's just saying he thinks it's super obvious. But here, I think, yeah, だから、考えてわかるですよ、みんな. I mean, yeah, it's easier. I mean, everyone else knows too, you know? Okay, yeah, so I guess that does follow on itself. But in terms, this Mina, this everyone, is kind of saying that's focusing on everyone in a sense. Anyway, it's not what you think, okay? You know I live alone, right? Well, I can't be asked to cook, so I go to Nambool a lot. That's how we know each other. And that's all there is to our relationship. Stop twisting my words. I just happen to like Nambool. See? Kuja's got nothing to do with it. I need to say kill Nambool. You totally don't believe me. Ah, god damn it. Yoichi smokes. Honestly, I didn't even realize that it was Kujo working as a waitress at Nambo until recently. Like, I knew Kujo from class, but I hadn't connected with her with the cute part-time at the restaurant at all. The only reason we're talking more now is that I've gotten wrapped up in this whole thing with the artifacts. But it's not like I can tell Yoichi that. He'll think I'm insane. What's up? Oh, more information maybe? Yeah. That's what the news was saying. Well, they did say nothing was confirmed yet, but everyone's pretty sure she was a real person. A disease, right. I sure hope that's all it is. Uwasa is more like EU Uwasa, the kind of it's more like rumor in a sense or tale in a sense. Uwasa. Yeah, it's more like a yeah, it's more like a rumorish type thing, I guess you could say. At the very least, a monster is something you have more control over than a disease. Assume it gives you enough time to run. Let's get back to cleaning. The pair of girls on duty give us pointed glares, reminding us of our unfinished task. A monster, huh? I guess in a way you could call this work of a monster. This the work of a monster. They're a villain using the power of an artifact to commit murder. I need to hurry and find some allies. Right now, we've only got me and Kujo. Actually, since I can't do anything for all intents and purposes, it's Kujo fighting alone. I just thought now as well, I can't remember if they mentioned who initially found out about the Lizo Garcia forum. I wonder if it was Sora who did that first as well. This monster is too much for her to handle by herself. Once finished cleaning, I head straight home. Not much happened today. The only times I talked to Kujo were a quick good morning and then that farewell after school. We didn't talk at all about the artifacts or about how we're going to look for comrades. Though, I guess it's not exactly the kind of thing we're going to talk about at school to begin with. What's our next move? We've only just started, but I feel like we've already stalled out. I pulled out my smartphone and flopped down on the floor. I have Kujo's number now, so I should just consult her if I'm at a loss. But I don't have any female friends, so I always feel a little awkward when talking to a girl. Man, I'm pathetic. Noise from the front door brings me to my feet. Maybe it's Kujo? Nah, no way. So it can only be... I just thought now, is this her trying out her ability, in a sense, trying to be sneaky and trying to get into the room? And the reason why I think it doesn't work, as mentioned before, I think Sora mentioned that her power doesn't really work well enough on Kakeru. I think it's also because obviously the only person who would be entering his apartment is Sora. So his mind would always or immediately think, okay, it's Sora. So he can see her immediately. The door creaks open, and as I suspected, my sister pops her head in. Our eyes meet. some reason, she winks at me, then wriggles her way into the half-open door. Yeah, she thinks she's invisible. She then softly shuts the door behind her and tiptoes toward my bed. Yeah, she thinks she's invisible. What does she think she's doing? Shrugs off her bag and falls onto my mattress. Damn brat, acting like she owns the place. Can't believe she's just ignoring me like this. This is pretty funny. The hell? So what's funny here, I like the Japanese way of saying it. It's like oi. It's like, hey. It's like calling out to the person in a sense. Stop ignoring me, you. I think this is ignore. Yeah. Yeah, she's surprised. Sora glances at me, then looks away, and looks back at me in utter shock. Wow, she did a double take. Pretty sure she's not faking it. What's she surprised for? She barged in here in broad daylight. Did she really think I wasn't gonna notice? Surely she's not that dumb. What are you even asking? Don't just barge into my room without permission and start lounging around on my bed. Yep, it was pretty obvious. What kind of question is that? I mean, yeah, duh. So now she wants to try it again. Do it for what? Just get the hell out of here. I really do like her character. She rushes out of the room, not bothering to shut the door behind her. A few seconds later. Yeah, it does not work on him properly. This is what I wanted the last episode. I wanted information like this. Like, why did you have to put it in the second one? Sora pokes her head through the tiny gap in the door once again. Like before, she slowly tiptoes her way over to my bed. Look, just give it a rest. What the heck are you even trying to do? So what kind of question is that? Why wouldn't I be able to see you? What? Why not? Did you die? Is this actually your ghost? So her first people she used it on was her parents. Grumbling to herself, Sora plunks down on my bed. Honestly, what the hell is she talking about? Though there is something nagging me about what she said. How can you see me? I worked so well on Mom and Dad too. Don't tell me you aren't gonna say you suddenly got superpowers or something, are you? She gives me a triumphant grin. I should I was right. Did she maybe find a small accessory of some kind? She's surprised that he actually knows. He knows about it. Spill it, sorta. Hirotate is more like picked up, or like you found something you pick up in a sense. So rather than she finding it on her, she picked it up. I think that's what Kuja did with that other one as well. She found it at the shrine. She picked it up. I wonder. I think that's how you get how the artifact finds its user in a sense. Is it something you keep randomly finding somewhere close to you, like it's in your pocket, even when you don't remember putting it there? She's a bit freaked out that he knows so much about it. You gotta be shitting me. I can't believe you became an artifact user. Artifacts. That's the name of those accessories like yours. Sighing, I pick up my smartphone. Okay, time to get over my embarrassment with talking to girls. Kojo needs to know about this. There's someone I want to introduce you to. I'll listen to what you have to say later. Promise. I start up my chat application. Then I fire off a message to Kujo. I found us a comrade. I take Sora with me to Nambo, where we all plan to meet. Kujo didn't have a shift today. It seems she was already halfway home from school, and is doubling back to meet us. I feel kind of bad for her making her do that, but this isn't something we should put off. I explain everything soon, so stop asking me every 5 seconds. Duma plays placates, sorta. You're still a little miffed she didn't get to surprise me like she wanted, and open the door. The bell on the door rings as we step inside. Our waiter immediately walks up to us. He asks if we want a table for two, and I give him a non-committal reply as I scan the tables. A he asks. Interesting. Didn't know there was a male waiter. Looks like... Sorry about that. Looks like Kuja's not here yet. I tell the waiter there's just the two of us, and he takes us to a table. I dither over whether we should sit next to each other, but in the end I decide it doesn't matter. We take our seats across from each other. It's kind of like, whatever. Sure, today's on me. Excuse me, can we both get a cola? As the waiter brings over a couple of glasses of water, I hurriedly place an order. While Sora's still stunned, the waiter nods and walks off. Skina no te Italian. Okay, so she didn't say. She said she didn't say what she liked, or in a sense, she didn't order what she wanted. Like I'd let you order when I'm treating. You'll probably obviously see a lot more new 2D sprites. If you don't like what I got for you, we can trade. Sora snaps so many clothes and shoves it back into its holder. She then heaves an exaggerated sigh. She just gotcha. I look down at the message Kuja sent me and type back, gotcha, we're sitting over by the wall. Kuja walks through the door the moment I turn around. Our eyes meet as she heads to our table with a smile. Don't worry about it. I'm the one who should be apologizing, calling you out of the blue like that. Sora, come over here. Sora gets up and moves to the seat next to me. Kuja then takes the seat Sora vacated. You know what? I really want to carry on, but I'm just going to leave it there for today. So at first I was really confused on how they were going to go about this episode 2. Because I knew that Sora obviously would be the main character of this episode. And I did take a look at the other episodes titles, because I wanted to see if obviously I'm getting the right one. And the other one had Haru in it, and the other one had Yuki in it. So obviously each one obviously will follow those. And I did see somewhere saying that there was like 1 of 9, 2 of 9, up to 4 of 9. So I wonder if there's going to be up to 9 episodes in total. It'd be really interesting if there was. But yeah, so it feels like not a lot has happened, because obviously most of it has been like recapping some things we know about and just random things like that, you know. But I gotta say, this whole interaction with Sora, finding out about her power for the first time, really was something I really wanted from last episode. So it's great that we were able to see it this time around. I was a bit worried going into this episode first, because obviously the sister character and the whole thing as well, but the character herself, I think, will allow me to go through this without as much of a problem. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So going forward, how are we gonna go about this? Because obviously we don't know if, obviously we're not gonna go with Kujo this time around, that's obvious. So I wonder if there is going to be some part later on where we interact more with Sora instead. I'm trying to think now what interactions we had with Sora in the future. Just the thing with Yoichi and Sora, that scene that one time, it just keeps popping into my head, and it's putting me off from the other scenes and memories. Well, I'll have to just can't delay this any longer. Yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. As mentioned, I went into this on a day I normally do this. Quite excited to carry on with this. Yeah. So I'll just leave it there, because I'm just mumbling on it now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know what your thoughts. Yeah, and I'll see you all next time.